Hi and welcome to this video. So this is the next video in the series of flight training, and in this video we're going to move away from this pylons track because this is now really too easy, and we're going to move to something that will start giving you some more obstacles to negotiate, which require some finer height control and also some more coordinated turns. So I'm going to go to the change scenery button here, and I'm going to change to the karting track, and we're going to go round Race Drones Classic.
Ready to race.
Okay, so let's press R to reset ourselves onto the start grid. Now this is the Race Drones Classic track, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put my camera angle down to 20 degrees, which is what we had before, but I'm going to stay in rate mode, and we're going to fly around this track, and I'm going to show you the new items in here that are going to give you the next challenge. And you can see the first one down there, which is it's a gate, and of course to fly through a gate you need to control your height. So we're just going to pop ourselves up gently into the hover. Let me just turn on my stick so you can see. We'll pop ourselves up gently into the hover, so we're just bouncing in the hover here. Very gently tip the quad forward and give it a little tiny bit of throttle to get us moving. Now at 20 degrees we're obviously very height sensitive, so we've got to be very careful on the throttle. So that's first through gate. Now the next gates are all flags. This is our coordinated turns, both sticks to the right, down here, and again this will be a both sticks to the right turn, and then both sticks to the left, just drift around that turn. And then here we've got a tighter one, so this is both sticks to the left, a bit of throttle so that we don't go in the ground, because the more you bank the more height you'll lose. And then a gentle drift around both sticks to the right here to go through here. Now again a challenge, we need to go under this one, so we need to control our height, go under that one, and then we can drift down here, both sticks to the right, bit of throttle so that we don't lose height, and then level out, and then gently back through the gate again. Now that's at 20 degrees. Now obviously we're trying to get ourselves flying a bit faster, so we're going to change, we're going to fly this at 30 degrees. And this is what you want to be doing, is you want to be just nudging up your camera angle and getting used to what happens when you bring the camera angle up. So we're going to just get ourselves up into the hover again. It gets a little bit higher this time, so I'm just drifting up a little bit. There we go, just drifting up a little bit, and then put the nose forward, and you'll see that I have to come off the throttle a little bit here just to go through the first gate. Again, I'm hardly touching the right stick for that, I'm just controlling what's going on the throttle. Then both sticks to the right, bit of throttle so we don't lose height. Drift down to this one, both sticks to the right, and a bit of throttle so I don't lose height. This one here, both sticks to the left, a bit of throttle so I don't lose height. Both sticks to the left again, and a bit of throttle so I don't lose height, level out. And down here, both sticks to the right again, very gentle movements. As you can see, I'm not putting in huge amounts of movement here, maybe a little bit more yaw than I am roll, because when you roll you definitely lose height because you're angling the quad, whereas with yaw at this camera angle you don't really lose that much height, so you can kind of steer around with a bit more yaw. Okay, so that's at 30 degrees. So now we're going to go up again. We're going to move up now to 40 degrees. Again, pop the quad up into the hover, and I'm going to get it just slightly climbing again this time. So I'm just slightly climbing like that, and then tip it forward. And you can see as I tipped it forward it started to dive, and I've pulled back to level it out. So again, this is a different type of skill now because we're at 45 degrees, so we don't necessarily need to control our height purely on our throttle stick over here, our left stick. We can actually pull back to gain height on the right stick. If we're travelling quickly, this acts just like an aeroplane. So in an aeroplane, if you're travelling along and you pull back, you do a loop. Well, in a quad, when you're travelling quickly, if you pull back on this stick, you gain height. So I can show you that. If I fly down here and I pull back, you can see I go over the top of it, and it's just acting just like an elevator stick in a plane. So now you want to be coordinating now your movement. So yes, you can control your height on the throttle alone. So we could fly down here on throttle alone, and I could just control my height purely on the left stick, as you can see, like that. But I can also fly down here a bit quicker and control my height on the right stick, like that. That was all a bit fast and difficult to see what was going on, but you can push forward to go down and pull back to go up. As you can see, just gentle movements, push forward to go down and pull back to go up. And again, this is learning to coordinate two different controls to control your height, not just using one stick all the time, just throttle to control your height, because throttle you want to use to control power in the turns to get your quad around a turn as well. And if you want to make a really fast turn, so if I go down here and I want to make a very fast turn on this flag, I'm going to use lots of throttle to make it around that turn, to power me around the turn. And again here and then around here, and you can see I'm angling the quad against my direction and using the power of the quad on the throttle to make the turn. So the faster I'm going, the more power I'm going to use to turn it. If I come down here relatively quickly and I want to make this turn, I've got to put in quite a lot of power to make the turns. And this is using throttle and the power of the props to make the turn, rather than just using the aerodynamics of the quad. So the quad isn't a wing, it doesn't have a wing to help you through the turns, to grip the air. All it has is props. So if you want to turn quickly, you need to use the throttle to power up the props to give you that grip through the turn. So let's take our camera angle up again, and we'll fly this at 45 degrees. We'll fly this a bit quicker now. You can see I'm using power now to make my turns. You can hear me putting the power on to make the turn. And this is one of the things about quad flying, is that the throttle is very, very active. You don't just sit with the throttle in one place all the time. I mean, you can, but you'll basically do very, very wide sweeping turns with the throttle in one place all the time, like this. You can see I haven't really got the ability to turn tightly, because I've just fixed my throttle and I'm just not using that power to get me through the turns. So that's all at fixed throttle. But actually, to fly it more quickly, you need to come off the throttle and power it to get around the turn, and then come around here and power it to get here, and then power it to go there. And then this turn is all about power, and then round here and crash straight into a flag. So it's using the power of the props to give you the effect of a wing, effectively, that you'd have in a plane. It's getting that grip in the corners, using the power of the quad to make sure that you can turn tightly. It's using all that thrust that you've got, instant thrust that you've got available to you, to make it around the tight turns. And that's the next stage in your flying. Okay, that's enough for this video, and we'll move on to the next video.